Oh boy, we got another GForce product. My man Brad told me, hey, why don't you go shoot this gun? And I was like, hey, I'll go shoot this gun. Diagnosed his Bear Creek 16-inch 22 ARC and brought it back to him even after I had fixed a little bit of it, still failing to do a lot of things. And he's like, hey, come shoot this gun for me. I was like, all right. It's a brand new GForce Arms GF2P, I guess. $100 shotgun, probably bought it on Palmetto. And yeah, it's a pistol grip shotgun. What else is there to say about it? Non-adjustable stock, got a butylene rubber gripped pistol grip. We got an action release in the front, so this means it's a Remington. Yep, if it was a Mossberg style, it would stay down, the lifter that is. Cross bolt safety. You got some Picatinny rail for maybe a flashlight. And this is a fixed cylinder bore, so this is meant for law enforcement, home defense, what have you. Yeah, probably a 4+1, maybe a 5+1. And we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the TAR 12 semi-automatic shotgun. Go check that video out if you haven't already. And just do a basic review of shotgun philosophy of use and pattern it a little bit. Don't have my target up yet, but we've got target stand there. We've got 5, 10, and 15 yards paced off here. Most people don't have more than 15 yards to shoot at. We also have 40 yards all the way down there for slugs. And yeah, we're just going to shoot this thing. The thing about this that perplexed me the most is there's no Picatinny rail and there's no way to mount a Picatinny rail. It's got this really sad dovetail sight. We kind of went away from that in the early 90s. The fact that we still have guns that have that don't make any sense to me. There are some goofy setups where you can get a pick rail that wraps over like an AK that indexes off of those pins. They work fine. I'd rather have a direct mount on the receiver. This is probably an aluminum receiver, maybe why they didn't do that, but I know Remingtons and Mossbergs that tap their receivers, and I don't know if Remingtons are, but I'm certain Mossbergs are aluminum. But yeah, no really open load port. We'll see how that works. Trying to quad load it. Quad loading with a pistol grip is never good. I've never been a fan of pistol grips. We'll see if I still think that way. I haven't shot a pump action shotgun in years, so let's just get right into it, shall we? Wow, look at that blast from the past. When I shot multi-gun and was out of reliable engineering work, I was working as a gunsmith and helped run the tack shack. I made my own slugs because I had all the access to any lead out of the back of the range. Can't believe there's still one of those in there. Anyway, we have what used to be the cheapest slugs on the internet. Now they're expensive, Feder slugs. I don't think these are going any faster than 1250, 1300 feet per second, but they don't advertise it. I put it over a chronograph years ago. We've got some Fiocchi Buckshot. This is 1325 advertised. Out of this 18.5-inch barrel is probably closer to 1200. 9 pellet, 2 3/4. Those are 2 3/4 slugs. And we've just got an assortment of Birdshot. So we'll start with the Buckshot, because that's probably what most of you guys are gonna be running through this if you do ever train with your shotgun. Most people I know that have these pump actions don't really even shoot them. So I would definitely encourage you to. And I'm not really gonna go into as to whether or not you should use your shotgun for home defense, other than you shouldn't, because there's only 5 rounds in this thing and handguns hold over 20 nowadays out of box. But if you decide to go this route, it's $100. It's very inexpensive and it's a long gun. So if you don't have time to train, these are ways you're using the handgun. So let's go up to 5 yards, pattern it, and we'll go to 15 and back here to 20, and then we'll shoot some slugs through it, and we'll do it with Birdshot again. The problem with this is, since it's a fixed cylinder bore, it's the widest choke. If you guys watch my TAR 12 video, we went over all the chokes and patterning and how all that stuff works. But if you want to use this as a bird gun cylinder bore, you got to get really close, long story short. So that's something to keep in mind. If you want to know more about that, go check out the TAR 12 video. All right, for those of you who aren't familiar with the battery of arms of a shotgun, the slide release, which they call it a slide because there's 2 slide bars that run back into the action, run the bolt. You actually have to hit that to release it. You can see the chamber, magazine tube, and the gun will not unlock until the trigger is pulled, and then your slide is able to move again. You can see the slide bar actually moving out of the way as I pull the trigger. So that's basically how that works. Cross bolt safety. One of the many reasons why I don't like pistol grips. It's hard to take that on and off. So if I'm shooting right-handed here, Take that off is fine, but you have to put it back on. You either have to reach under or you have to break your grip to bring your thumb over, because I even have long thumbs and it's very hard to reach. Well, that's basically how that works. And then the load procedure, I'm gonna go ahead and grab you what most of you won't have. I have a shot shell caddy for quad loading, and basically how this works is you grab all 4 of these, and I'll show you how that loads when I'm standing. But this is not something you're gonna have on your person when there's a bump in the night. You're just gonna grab your gun, which that gun actually has provisions to put them in the buttstock, but it's not gonna be a very fast load procedure. We'll show you that here in a minute. But another tidbit about shotguns, you can see these are high brass, medium brass, and low brass. And that's just the supporting for this shot. This really doesn't need high brass. You can see it's 1280 feet per second. They put it on there for some reason. It's more expensive, but that's all that means. It doesn't really mean it's more powerful. It's just how much brass they put on it. But the load procedure as such, you grab around, insert, insert, you hit your slide release, and you pump it. You can see 1 round comes out of the magazine tube. The lifter brings it up to present to the chamber. It chambers, you fire, it will extract that shell. Well, there we go. And eject it. And your ejector for one of these is usually in the left side of the receiver, but I don't see it. There we go. So that little button nub down in there, see if we can get a shot of that. This little button nub back here on the far side of the receiver, right at the end of my finger, that's what actually kicks it out. And then the next pump, you can see the round comes right underneath the extractor. We got some plastic in there already. Chambers the round, and then bang, it extracts the round. That's all there is to it. Very simple. The other way to load your shotgun is you can just simply take the round, lay it in here. You don't have to fidget with it or anything. As soon as you pull the slide forward, it goes. So, go ahead and take this out. And I'll show you the difference between a Birdshot and a Buckshot, because these Fiocchis are actually see-through, and so are these Feder Birdshot rounds. This is a number 7.5 Birdshot. You can see all the little baby ball bearings in there. So the smallest shot is like a 9 shot. That's like peppercorn flakes. And then you can see this is either a double-aught buck. Yeah, double-aught buck. You see how the pellets are stacked in there. And the thing you'll notice about this, the further we get away, this is basically a slug at this distance. The shotgun is not a point and go kind of thing, especially at close distance. You actually have to aim it, unless you have an SBS, and even then you kind of have to aim it. But the further we get away, these will spread out non-linearly. It's not going to be like 2 inches at 5 yards and 3 inches at 10 yards. Like, they spread out more sporadically, especially when you get down to 40 yards. So we'll observe that here. Buckshot, 5 yards. Yeah, basically a slug. You can see the wad went low and left of the pattern. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 of the bucks touching that hole, and 2 of them high and right. So we'll go back to 10 yards now. The other thing about shotguns is this is actually more like inch 70, inch 75 overall length. It's not 2 3/4 until you fire it. So that's a common misconception. People measure these and think, oh, I got a short one. Like, no, the whole overall length is 2 3/4. So I'm going to try and shoot him a little bit lower to see the difference in the pattern. We'll go look at it. There you go. 2 3/4, more like 2. Go check that out. I forgot my measuring tape. And you can see the buck didn't even fly with the wad. It hit left of where I was aiming. But you can see this first group is about 2 inches overall. Went back to 10 yards. It was closer to 3.5, looks like. So that's just your wad. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 9 double in there. And it hit left of center. It may have been me, but that was where I was aimed. So we'll go back even further. I'm going to tape these up and see how much bigger that group is and see if it maintains that left of center. The other thing I want to mention, you can see your power piston absorbs some of the initial acceleration to keep your BBs from being deformed, but when these are all stacked in here bouncing down your barrel, they get deformed, and that's kind of why they don't fly straight. But you can see the shot cup, there's actually a second piece of plastic in there that holds them in a column. And you can see the power piston for these feathers is a much different, more unique pattern. And their shot cup is fairly similar. But there is a specialty buckshot that I would never buy because I'm not interested in it. It's called Flight Control. It actually increases the recoil of the shotgun despite the lower velocity. But that shot cup keeps these in a column much longer. And it releases them a little bit truer in flight. There's some cool slow-mo videos of it. It's called Federal Flight Control. And you can actually buy the wads, or you can 3D print the wads and load your own ammo. So if you really want a tack driver that can actually shoot buckshot down to 30, 40 yards, that's what you would want. But again, even with this inexpensive loading, as you saw at 10 yards, it's still less than the fist side group. So there's a lot of technology that's been developed for shotguns over the years. I'm really not that interested because shotguns are just not my thing. It's not a very useful tool. With a modern handgun, you can do much more work, but it is kind of cool shooting 9 380 projectiles at the same time. Whole magazine out of a 380 in one trigger pull is kind of neat. Give you guys a perspective of what the sighting arrangement on this thing is. That's how I'm aiming it. You definitely don't want to see your barrel, and you don't really even want to see the base of your front sight. You want to kind of bury it in that trough. That's how I'm going to aim at the center of this thing. I'd much prefer a red dot. It's 20 current year. This thing should have an integrated rail on top, but for $100, maybe you don't want to put a $100 red dot on your $100 gun. You just want to have this thing, which is fine. All right. Back here at 15 yards, we got another buckshot. And I'm going to aim basically where my first group went, and we'll see how this goes. Now it's shooting right of center. Again, one of the many reasons why I don't like shotguns. The consistency and accuracy and precision are not really a great stack up with shotguns. And as you can see, we have a flyer low and left. So at 15 yards, which is your average hallway, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that wasn't a flyer. That was just a piece of tape that came off. So we got 7, 8, and 9. So much more than a fist-sized group. I would say that's 8 inches overall. So we've doubled our last group. So like I said, it's logarithmic. It's not a linear growth in group. So now I'm going to throw this thing all the way over there, and we're going to do a 30-yard group. And I'm going to go ahead and guess we're going to lose at least 2 BBs on this shot. So we'll go ahead and tape it up, see what that does. All right, we got our target all the way back at 30 yards now. And one thing I want to say here is there is an old boomer adage that I will actually reference every once in a while. Every projectile that comes out of this gun has a lawyer attached to it. If I have to engage someone in my driveway, which is 25 yards from where my window would be, I would not do it with this. I would have an AR-15. I would even trust a handgun more than this thing, because as soon as I let those 9 BBs fly, they could bounce off of gravel, pavement, whatever, hit your neighbor's house, hit your neighbor's car. You're accountable for every round. I'd rather have 1 bullet, 1 trigger pull, 1 neutralized target, instead of having 9 BBs that, as you'll see here, probably won't even score a hit on your target. Again, with flight control, some other technologies that cost an absorbent amount of money, you can make this thing better. You can put a tighter choke in it, but at 5 rounds, if you have 5 dudes coming at you, you're not going to be able to pull shells out of here, load your shotgun under stress, and engage said 5 dudes. So, I know I said I wasn't going to get into philosophy with this video, but it's kind of hard as an instructor and a national level shooter to not mention this kind of stuff. I think the only people holding on to these are old people and cops because, well, neither of those people are known for their intelligence, and this is a very simple system to run. Learn how to use a handgun, especially. Carry one. Learn how to use an AR-15. This is for birds. That's all I gotta say. Again. I'll keep you guys zoomed in on the target so you can kind of see what the heck's going on here, and you might even catch some of these BBs in flight because they're not terribly high velocity. So, 30 yards. Here we go. Yeah, at the wide pattern. Let's go check it out. This test is also assuming that your assailant is not very smart and just kind of hanging out, standing in the middle of the driveway or a hallway. So this is a very rare instance where it's a perfect donut pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have never ever seen this happen. We're gonna go ahead and shoot a 3-shot group. I'm gonna tape this up. Actually, no, we'll keep this here, so we'll have 4-shot group at this distance, and we'll see if it can consistently do this. But as you can see, we're at the edges of the C zone. Again, this is a full-size target, assuming your assailant doesn't know how to take cover. Normally you won't have a full presentation, but yeah, it's a big group. And I'm honestly not even comfortable shooting any further because I don't know where those ball bearings are gonna go. If it's too big of a group, it might not even stay in the berm, and I don't want that kind of liability. Safety first. Not worth it. All right, 3 shots on top of that group. Let's see how it goes. Go check that out. So in theory there should be 36 hits on this. Tape. Tape is good. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, maybe 34 in the middle. So yeah, we're missing, 35, we're missing 1. Which is not bad. It is kind of biasing left, which could be my trigger pull. It's not the best trigger and it's a high recoil gun. It's very likely I'm doing a little bit of too much trigger squeeze. But yeah, we got 1 BB not accounted for. Probably went down here. So I just taped this, and with that double in the middle, I only counted 34. So we got 2 BBs that are gone somewhere. All right, so we learned that buckshot's not great past 20 yards. It looks like I got a bunch of 1 1/8 ounce light loaded stuff for birdshot. I'm gonna use it because it doesn't run in my semi-auto anyway. And we're gonna do that same test over again at 5, 10, and 15. And probably just 20, because at that point we're going to be missing BBs. And this is not a great home defense round. A lot of people think it is. We'll show you why they think it is at 5 yards, and then maybe at 10, but 15 and 20, it's not going to run. All right, so best way to load up 5 rounds is you just have a hand fist of them, and hopefully the brass is pointed the right way. This one, you can see 2 of them are the right way, 2 of them the wrong way. And I'm just going to keep pressure against the receiver and load them like so. Hey, excuse me, timer, you're not ready. And I'm just gonna flip them around on my finger. And you guys will see in the time trial, this is a very, very slow way to load your shotgun. The second way we're gonna do it is out of the buttstock, and the third way we're gonna do it is the 3-gun way, the quad load. But for now, let's pattern the shotgun at 5, 10, 15, and 20 yards. This first one, I'll go ahead and zoom in, show you guys the pattern, and then I'll just let the video do the talking from then on. All right, 5 yards. And like I said, this 5-yard test is why people think this birdshot might be a good choice for home defense. As you can see, it blows out a giant section of the center because the majority of the BBs will fly true. But with that cylinder bore, you can see you've got BBs all across the C zone. You've got none in the deltas, but we'll go back to 10 yards. I'm going to keep you guys right there, and you'll see how fast this opens up. 10 yards. bad. 15 yards. Wow, this thing doesn't eject for crap. 20 yards. All right, let's go look at this. You can see the wads didn't really want to fly in the same spot every time. Back at 20 yards, you got basically the whole size of the target. And even that 5-yard shot, I mean, these are really small ball bearings. They're not really taking a whole lot of mass with them. You can just basically ignore the wads because they're just going to bounce off whoever it is. But yeah, Birdshot, home defense, not great. And with a cylinder bore, you can see at 20 yards, the bird's going to get maybe a quarter of the pellets on it. So you really need chokes past 20 yards. Yeah, that's a lot of pepper. All right, so we've done Birdshot, which is the smallest shot. We've done Buckshot, which is the medium shot. Now we're on the Slugs. Well, Mike, this is a smooth bore. How do these work? So this is more of a Brunique style slug. The original Foster slug, I'll put on the screen right now. The only reason these work is because this hollow cavity behind here moves the center of mass forward and the projectile follows the center of mass. There's no spin stabilization. These fins were put on here in theory to have a spin stabilization. This does have some sort of very slow gyroscopic effect. But that's not really why these fly straight. Why do I say that? Well, I've done slow-mo on these Lee slugs that I make. They're powder coated. There's no fins on them. And they fly just as true at 100 yards as a Foster slug. So whoever the Foster feller, I mean, they do gyroscopically stabilize, but naturally anything in flight will have some sort of spin to it. So I don't really necessarily think these are why they spin or why they stabilize. It's because all the mass is forward. It's the same concept as a Minier ball from the 1850s, only those were shot through rifle barrels, so they doubly stabilized. Now with supersonic bullets, you don't have to have a bunch of forward mass, and it's actually bad to have forward mass when you're going supersonic, which these are slightly supersonic at 1,200, 1,300 feet per second, but once you get 20 yards downrange, they're not breaking the sound barrier anymore. So we're gonna do a 3-shot group. We're back here at 40 yards. We got an actual target down there. And we're gonna do a 3-shot group with these, check them out, and we'll do a 3-shot group with the Lees. The same thing, I'm gonna be zoomed in on the target so you can see these bad boys in flight. All right, we'll do the feather slugs first. I rested on this barrel so I have some sort of rest. And we'll see where these go. Looks like it hit low. Yeah. I don't know. At least it hit the target. That's why I put the target low on the berm, guys. Liability. Don't want these flying over a berm. All right, second shot. And the third shot. Pretty light shotgun. It's got a little bit of recoil to it, but not too bad. Go check those out. Thing's actually got a pretty decent trigger in it for being $100 bucks. Looks like we're hitting right of center. Looks like I stacked two on top of each other. I thought this was a hit, but that's not bad. It's actually terrible. I'm being facetious. If I had a rifle with iron sights, we'd be in this tiny diamond, no problem. So that's one of the things that would be beneficial with the red dot. You just change the windage. Front sights, yeah, you just kind of aim left of center, and when you have buckshot, you just kind of hope it flies straight, because we saw it went left and right. So we'll try the Lee slugs now. All right, Lee slugs from 2 years ago, maybe 3, probably 3. I haven't made shotgun ammo in a very long time. All right, same point of aim. Here we go. Wow, those are way hotter. I made those hot. Holy crap. Those are like 1,400 feet per second. Looks pretty similar. Yeah, it's almost identical. Rifling, no rifling, point of aim's the same, point of impact's the same. So that's not bad. Yeah, a smaller group of these, but you know, I'm making them literally by hand. The roll crimp and everything's all done by hand. And those are way hotter, so cool. I'll do some slow-mo videos here now. I'll do one Foster slug and one Lee slug behind it, and we'll see how they stabilize in flight. So you can see the difference between these two. Wow, that's a gnarly roll crimp, Mike. These are sitting in a shot cup. This is not a power piston. And the Feather Slugs, the power piston actually sits in the base and follows it, and it's kind of like a stabilizing fin like on a shuttlecock when you're playing badminton. And that's why these are a little bit more stable, but again, you're not going to be shooting these past 50 yards. And on a man-sized target, we can see they make hits all the same. I actually made hits at 100 yards at the Texas 3-Gun Championship with one of these, and my steel plate back at the old range. So, yeah, it's a slug. It's not accurate. It's not precise. It's just a thing. You can see these Feather Slugs look like they use crimped holes, but it's actually that Foster fin coming out, and then you can see mine are roll crimped old Sterling slugs. And you see where the roll crimp comes out and forms to the chamber. Pretty neat. Got some of my rubberized knockdown targets here. A lot of people ask me when they get into shotguns back in the day. No one talks about shotguns anymore because, you know, like I said, AR-15s are kind of the way to go. They asked me if I should get a pump action or semi-auto. Nowadays, you just get a semi-auto. Even the box-fed guns like that TAR-12, they just run great. I have a Beretta 1301. It's the best semi-automatic shotgun tube-fed gun that I've ever shot. But they're $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. We're gonna see if this can run anywhere near as fast as that TAR did. I had the same array set up at 10 yards with that gun, and from the IPSC start position, I could get all these targets in 2.5 seconds or less. I don't think I'll be able to beat 3 seconds with this thing. We'll be able to see how well or not well this thing ejects. So, let's see how that works. Alright, I really don't think I'll be able to quad load this thing, but we'll try. Safety on. I normally cradle the gun. Some people put it on their shoulder. It's personal preference. I think the shoulder is actually a little bit faster, but I never learned how to do that. But I grab 4 shells like this, pushing the receiver. Yeah, the pump's in the way. Oh my God, why does this thing suck so much? Yeah, that really sucks. Pump's in the way. You basically have to cut the back half of the pump off to get a nice sweep, and the load port obviously needs opened up. But we'll start with safety on just like we did with the other gun, and we'll see how long it takes me to get all these targets. Here we go. Three seconds, wow. I can guarantee you the reload is slower. I'd be surprised if the average gun owner could get 3 seconds on this run. It'd probably be more like 5. The other thing about this is if I want to quad load it, I gotta use my second hand. Normally with a regular gun, I can just do this one-handed and flip it. With this pistol grip in the way, you can't really do that. Take 4 shells off my caddy. Good Lord, that sucks. Oh, yeah, nope, that needs a lot of work. Okay, safety on. We're IPSC ready. $260. $260. 260. The only difference between this and the open shotgun, the box magazine fed shotgun, is cylinder bore I don't have to aim. That semi-auto I did. All right. See how fast we can run this thing. Gun runs, I'll give it that. I don't hate the way the pump works. I don't hate the trigger. The trigger's actually pretty decent. This load port is obviously not set up for multi-gun. But yeah, if you can run the pump, the gun will run. All right, here we go. I missed the middle one, 250. That's basically as fast as I can run that gun, and I got one miss. So, yeah, and these are my rubberized targets, so if they were steel, partial hits might not fall, but one little target in the middle. So, I guess in conclusion, the gun does what it was designed to do. I really don't care to test the loading out of the buttstock because I know it's going to take about 4 business days. Well, you know what, just right now, I'm not going to shoot it. Let's see how fast it takes me to load 5 out of this thing. And then even with the shitty load port, I guarantee you the quad load's gonna be better. But the problem is when shit goes bump in the night, you're not gonna have a caddy ready to go. So I'll go from shouldered and just load this thing. This is really the selling point against shotguns. I can load 24 rounds in my handgun in less than 2 seconds. This is probably gonna take all 10 seconds. All right, bad guys in my house. I've expelled 5 rounds. There's still people coming. Granted, you could run one in the tube and shoot, but assuming I need 5 rounds, this is how long it's going to take. Bang! 13.5 seconds. That's horrible. Now quad load. All right. Here we go. Bang, that's 8 seconds. So with the proper gear, it's 5 seconds faster than loading out of that buttstock. That's why I think even side caddies, when you don't have to travel from the buttstock to the receiver, you're right on the side of the receiver, probably more than 10 seconds anyway. So slow to load, slow to shoot, low capacity. Like I said, most modern guns, my Canic, I have base pads that I can have 23 rounds on a magazine. This thing has 5? 5. I don't know why anyone would choose this for home defense. As you can see, the ejector is not great. If I go slow, come on. It just, and the shells aren't coming out of the magazine tube now. Yeah, it's just. Okay, so long story short, for $100 the gun works. You can shoot a slug at 40 yards and kind of hit a man-sized target. It shoots fast, not as fast as a semi-auto, which again, the only reason I have a semi-auto is for, you know, speed shooting, sporting goods, fun. You can't take this clay shooting with a cylinder bore. You can, but you're not winning anything. You're not going to do well. Not past, like I said, 20 yards. You might get a chip off of a couple clays from 2 BBs hitting it. Quad load thing, some bleeding now. You can't put a red dot on it, but if you could, that's not really going to help you. Yeah, it's the one thing that the selling point for shotguns is like, oh, I got all these different loads. The way I look at this is a multi-tool. I hate multi-tools. I'd rather have a pair of pliers and a backpack full of tools than one multi-tool, obviously. But this doesn't do any job well. Some multi-tools can do a couple jobs well. This tries to do multiple jobs and does none of them well. It's not accurate, so it's not a rifle. It's not high capacity, so it's not a rifle or a handgun. It makes a really fun noise. That's also a boomer adage. No one's scared of this. If anything, they're like, oh, my Glock with a switch and 33 rounds is up against someone who knows nothing about using firearms. So yeah, I tried to stay non-dogmatic about this, but this gun does nothing well. Have an AR-15, have a 9mm handgun with 20 plus rounds in it. Hell, your AR-15 can hold 60 rounds easy. 5, 6 rounds, extended tube, you get maybe 7. This is not it. This is not a home defense gun, in my opinion. But good on GForce for making them cheap. That's pretty cool. $100. I suppose this is not a true YouTube video about firearms if we don't do a build drill. The other thing about these guns is they're not super reliable, because if you short chuck them, you're gonna have a bad time. Alright. And we're gonna do the build drill from low ready. Wow, look, I put one round in that's a 3-inch and I lost capacity. Okay, however many rounds this is. Low ready, because that's how you cheat a fast build drill time with a long gun. Your low ready is at like 30 degrees instead of 45. I thought it was safety off because we So that was 5 shots in 181 split times. We got a 27 reaction time, a 40 split, a 35 split, a 35 split, a 45 split. So yeah, with a handgun you could do that in 20 splits easy. So it's not fast, it's not accurate, it's not high capacity, it's a shotgun. Yes, power piston. Slugs.